Those like off-brand Czech sodas.
Yeah.
And honestly, they're pretty good.
What do you mean Czech?
That's the name of the brand.
I feel like there's probably a bunch of off-brand brands, not just Czech.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about that one specifically.
Okay.
But they have like a bunch of different flavors, and they have like a off-brand Dr. Pepper type.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
Dr. Thunder.
I don't think it's called Dr. Thunder.
There's one called Dr. Thunder.
There are a lot of off-brand Dr. Peppers, but I forgot what theirs is called. It's called Dr. something.
Doctor.
Give me the news.
What?
Give me the news.
What news?
You never heard that song?
Oh. Wait. Are you okay, wait. Oh, shoot. I was thinking of a completely different one. You're thinking okay, there's a different song that's like, I guess, vulgar.
Okay.
Where it's like it's the song's like sexual. I thought that's what you're referring to.
No.
Okay.
It's like some classic rock and roll song.
No, I
like
remembered.
The 50s or something.
I remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess just so I don't keep you in suspense, maybe we edit it out, but there's a song called Help Me Dr. Dick. And it's like, the song's all about sex. It's not subtle. And it's like, there's a video of, what is it? There's a video that I think I showed you of like a girl dancing. But she's dancing to a different song. Here, 1 second.
I don't think you've ever shown me.
I've shown it to you because I'm like, what is it? This is the video.
Oh.
And then it's edited to this song, which I guess we will edit out because it's copyright, probably. If you look up the original, she's dancing to Help Me Dr. Dick.
Okay.
And I was like, what the frick is this song? And I looked it up and I think it's a joke. Like, I feel like it's somewhat of like a shit post, but like, yeah, no, it's weird.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I know the answer is no, but are you familiar with who Cupcake is? You say Cupcake.
You talking about EDP's girlfriend?
No. I'm talking about the
I thought you would laugh
MC.
at that joke.
I can barely remember what went on with that. Let me see. Yeah, she has, she's only 24. That's wild. She's like almost our age.
Wow, what the frick?
But yeah, no, Cupcake has a lot of like really vulgar songs. So.
Like WAP?
No, more explicit than that.
Interesting.
I feel like a lot of her songs have become memes, but I can't name a single one. So, but I feel like also she like gives away money on Twitter a lot. I hate it when people do that, but yeah, I've already made like 2 videos about it.
Do you hate it because you never get the money?
No, I hate it because it creates like a false sense of hope for a lot of people. Because a lot of people go in their replies being like, hey, I need to pay off my loans or like my baby's in the hospital or something. And that's just depressing. So, you know,
Oh, wow. The song Help Me Dr. Dick is from 1996. And it's from a German Eurodance project called Erotic.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I love me some Eurodance. So I might have to listen to it.
I guess it's very funny. Like, I don't know if it's trying to be like I don't know. Maybe we'll watch the music video after.
Maybe we will. You know, I have a whole Eurodance playlist.
Mm. Well, anyway, I guess the song is older than I thought, and it is weird, but it is funny.
Mm.
So
it's by a German group.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I have no data to back this up, but I feel like German Eurodance is like top tier.
Mm.
But I have no data to back. No, Swedish. But no, it's because ABBA, they're from Sweden, so they kind of.
At what point are we gonna actually be for the
Joseph,
podcast?
I was getting there. God, if you would have just let me finish my statement, I would have done the intro, and now I have to do it now, and it's awkward. So this is episode 6 of the Not Just Arin podcast.
Well, bring it down
I'm
a
Arin,
notch.
and you are.
I'm not Arin.
Okay. Today's episode is going to be about social media.
Let's not assault our audience's ears.
I'm not assaulting.
They're not in trouble. Don't stop crying. Like, you're fine. Like, just, she didn't mean it. She's just a little high strung today. Okay. So just please stop crying.
You.
Please stop crying. Please. Please. Okay. Thank you. All right. Go on, Arin.
So today's episode is going to be about social media. Me and not Arin have I would say some opposing views about social media as a whole. I feel like some things we agree on, but some things we might disagree on. So, what better place to start than the beginning? So, when was the first time you, like, were on social media? So, like, created an account, started adding friends, all of that.
Well, I guess I know it was in middle school. I think it had to have been like 6th or 7th grade when around the same time I got my first phone.
Did you have a smartphone?
I did.
Really? As your first phone?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow.
It was kind of like a crappy Android. Like I wasn't happy with it, but yeah, it was just kind of the first phone. But
yeah, my first phone was a flip phone, and that was in 2011. So I think maybe the iPhone was out by then, but it was still like super expensive. There's no way I was gonna get one. But continue.
I mean, if we moved, yeah, I feel like my first phone was 2010 or 2011. It was a smartphone. But
must be nice.
What is it? I mean, I guess I just joined Facebook because it's what everyone was doing. Everyone was kind of getting one, and then we're just kids, so it's just like, oh, I like Coca-Cola, I like Skittles, and just liking these like corporate pages where I don't know why, but it's like, oh, do you like something? Well, you need to let everyone know, which I feel like partially gets into some of my beef with it, but it's like we're just kids. There's not a whole lot of harm to it, but
yeah.
I wonder what else I could say about it. Like, I guess I remember adding people. I remember getting in trouble for like things I posted, or like, being like an edgy middle schooler, like I'm upset, I don't want to talk about it, stuff like, not literally that, but basically that.
So they call that vague booking.
Vague booking. What else? Yeah, I guess those are there's not a whole lot there. I feel like I have to do more digging, but those are my early memories of it. What about you?
So, me on social media, it doesn't predate Facebook because Facebook was still there, but back in the day, Yahoo had like a sort of kind of social component. So I had made like my first email address when I was maybe 9 or 10. And then I think back then, so this is like 2010, 2011 for reference. Yahoo had its own kind of like MSN Messenger, but it was just called Yahoo Messenger. And so I would add my friends in elementary school to my, I guess like Yahoo email account. And I actually still have those emails from back then, me being a weird 10-year-old going back and forth with my friends on that Yahoo account. So that's fun. I actually read through them not that long ago. So I feel like that might have been, it's not social media as we think about it like now, but I feel like me interacting with people that I know, but online, that kind of started there. But as far as the major platforms go, this is going to sound weird because it was, but I was also a child at the time. But when I was, I want to say in the not 10th grade, oh Lord, when I was in the 7th grade, or maybe the 6th grade, I can't remember, but middle school aged, I asked my parents if I could make like a Facebook account, and they said no. And I was like, why? And they said, you're too young. So I was like, oh man, that's lame. I guess I can't have a Facebook. And I asked them the same thing for Twitter as well, and they said no. But somewhere along the way, I realized that I didn't really need my parents' permission to set up these accounts because I already had an email address, and I could just lie about my age.
You shouldn't be confessing this on the podcast, Arin. You're going to jail.
Yeah, I went on Disney.com without my parents' permission. Oh no. No, it's probably gonna be CartoonNetwork.com. I didn't F with Disney back in those days, but yeah, I realized that I didn't like actually need my parents' permission to make these accounts, so I just made them and live my life.
Did you ever get in trouble?
Not in serious trouble. I mean, I don't even know if I ever told my parents that I had made one. So,
Mark Zuckerberg never showed up at your door.
No, he didn't. So I was free and clear for a while. And so eventually, I started adding people at school and seeing what they were doing. But at this time, I was, cringy little middle schooler, I was very entrenched into the Warriors fandom, and you probably don't know what that is, but basically that was my Harry Potter, right? So, Warriors, for those who are uninitiated, it's the series of books about these feral cats living in clans in the woods and like their little conflicts. Honestly, it was kind of a lot for a sixth grader to be reading because there is a lot of violence in those books. So I don't know, but I was living reading them. So my name on Facebook was Arin, aka Soulfire, because
Bruh.
because
Were you a goth?
kind of. I mean, I didn't dress like one because, you know, I didn't like buy clothes like that, but kind of. So I had my own like fan clan and I wrote fan fiction and it's all still there. It's all still in the ether. I'm not going to say the name of it because, you know, you gotta, if you want to find it, you gotta put some work in, okay? I'm not going to give you all the answers, but, the main character of my fan clan was called Soulfire. So that was like, you know.
You got a Warriors OC.
Yeah, exactly. So, and my profile picture was a drawing that I had made, which, I mean, my DeviantArt still exists. So I'm going to see if I can find these images. And when I do, I'll post them on the Twitter and the Instagram. But yeah, that's what I was doing back then. I'm surprised I didn't get made fun of for it. Because I fully expected to at some point, but I did not. I think because this was kind of early on in like middle school.
I mean, who would have made fun of you?
My classmates.
Did they know about it?
I mean, they had seen all of that on Facebook, so yes, they would have.
Maybe it was too new and fresh to know that like the bullies hadn't caught up to the technology yet. They didn't know about cyberbullying. They didn't be like, yo, someone's being nerdy online.
There is plenty of cyberbullying going on.
In your middle school?
Yeah.
Over
I
what?
suppose we can get to that.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, do you remember some of these like proto, I guess, social media websites?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Because, I mean, you had MySpace, and that was pretty big for a while. And then Facebook came along, and then there was Twitter. There's also, like, these smaller ones. Like, for instance, Tagged. That was, I feel like that was more in the late 2000s, which is when I would be in, like, elementary school. But my brother had a Tagged account. And I remember because I think Soulja Boy had a Tagged account. And my brother was, like, a huge Soulja Boy fan at this point. So, of course, we called his number, 678-999-8212. He didn't pick up, but there was a voicemail, I think, and we left a voice message. And also, I don't feel bad about doxing Soulja Boy because that number is no longer active.
You called it recently.
I didn't, but
hoping he would answer.
I kind of want to. I feel like it's like well and goodly deactivated now, but because you know,
we call it right now. He answers. We get Soulja Boy on the podcast.
Draco is not going to answer us. I guarantee you. I know. No, that's like his name. He's like Big Draco. That's his other name now.
I made a Harry Potter reference.
I know, but okay. I don't know if that's what he was doing or not. But anyways, so Soulja Boy had a tagged account, and that's why my brother was there. And then Bebo was another one, but I don't remember really Bebo all that much because I don't think my brother was really on there. So and then there was, I mean, this isn't really like social media. It's more like a MMO, I guess, but IMVU. That was also like kind of a big thing back then. Do you remember that?
For me, like it starts at Facebook, and then I know about MySpace before that, but it's like I was in middle school, so that's...
Even back then, I was terminally online, so it never ended either. But yeah, I remember some of those proto social media websites. I don't think any of them still exist. IMVU still exists. Somehow. She's still around. Tagged is gone. Bebo might be gone. But MySpace... Do you remember they like accidentally deleted a third of MySpace?
No.
So, okay.
They Thanos snapped a third of MySpace.
Basically, I don't know how this happened, but they like lost a bunch of MySpace data. So like a lot of stuff is just permanently gone now. So that was wild when that happened. That had to be like a couple of years ago or maybe last year. Yeah, MySpace essentially got Thanos snapped. MySpace is mostly for like music now, though. So, but I mean, it was back then too.
It's still around.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I think it's still around. Maybe before or after it got Thanos snapped, it was like fading out. But I think MySpace is still a thing.
It was fading out as soon as it was. I feel like for me,
but I know, but for music artists, that's what it's primarily being used for now. And when it got Thanos snapped, but back in the day, you know, you'd have the MySpace emo bands, some of which that I still listen to this day because they still are bopping. But yeah, a YouTuber that I follow made a video about it, but I haven't watched it yet because I feel like the nostalgia would be too strong and I wouldn't be able to recover. Do you ever feel like that?
The nostalgia being too strong?
Yes.
Like, what aspect won't recover?
I don't know, just remembering things, but remembering them objectively instead of remembering them how you remember them.
I guess I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, like, I get nostalgic sometimes, and then usually that just makes me sad. Like, I just kind of listen to an old song or watch an old show, and then I'm just like, oh, that was so long ago, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, I recover, but I feel like it can really get me down in the dumps for, like, a solid 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, well, I have an example for this. So, are you familiar with the first hype house, the proto hype house? They're called the Creatures, and they were all like YouTubers, and they lived in this one big house. Do you remember?
You've told me about them, but I'm not familiar with them.
Okay, well, a different YouTuber made a video about like the rise and fall of them because I kind of never really figured out like what happened, and so I watched that video and I was like, oh, this is the good old days when I used to watch them in middle school, and then realizing how it all, you know, kind of went downhill and realizing, you know, seeing all this stuff objectively instead of remembering how I remember it, which is just like happy memories of me watching YouTube videos after school. So
are you just worried it won't be as good? Like you'll go back and it's good, like, oh, it was trash. Like,
not necessarily, but just that, you know, my memories will be sullied by potentially new information. I guess.
I feel like for me, yeah, I don't think I worry about that. I think for me, it's more just like, oh, do I want to revisit this and like kind of be brought back to that time, which can be nice. Like there's something about it that's appealing, but it really gets me in like my feels for a little bit.
I don't like putting myself in that position, which is why I haven't watched that same YouTuber's video on Couch Up, because he also made a video on like the rise and fall of that. Because I was still watching that in like college, so that's really recent for me. So, you know, I don't know, man. It's just the pains of growing older, I guess. But we went way off topic, so.
I mean, for me, it's just like, it's sad when things are end or when they're like over. So like, for me, I guess for example, the YouTuber I really like, Tio, of the Walking Fred fame. I've been watching him. This may shock you, but I've been watching him since like the 4th or 5th grade.
I think you told me this.
Yeah. And so like going back to like,
can't be that old.
Huh?
He can't be that old.
He's not, but he started doing YouTube like in high school, like before he was even 18.
Yeah.
So like, so I mean, just go back, like he's probably like in his late 20s, I would say. I don't think he's hit 30 yet, but what is it? No. I've never had to like, I guess, mourn that or that loss of just like entertainment or that time in my life, because it's just been going on as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm very happy and like thankful for, because he's very entertaining and has entertained me the past like decade.
Yeah.
Which is kind
like
of insane.
Your entire formative years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of wild. But social media. I guess YouTube is definitely social media. I mean, it's video based instead of, you know, text based, but I would say it's social media. I feel like they removed some of the social aspects, because YouTube, they used to have like just like a basic DMing system. That's like not a thing anymore. And then video replies. Man, those were great. I never watched a single video reply, but I just remember watching random YouTube videos and then the reply girls in the replies. Oh goodness. I don't think drinking that was the best idea. But anyways, yeah. Memories. I think for the both of us, something maybe not happen, but something changed within us to maybe sully our opinions on social media as a whole. And I think yours, it took a little bit longer to happen, but for me, it was really not that long after I created that Facebook account. So I think for me, what had happened was I was in the 7th grade, and there was this girl who I think was dating this boy that I had a crush on. And she
You had a crush on?
Yes.
Okay.
And she said something to me on Facebook. I can't even remember what it was, but she commented something somewhere, and I told her to piss off. So the next day at school, because we had some classes together, she confronts me about it, like at school in person, and I'm like, whoa, this is happening. And we were legit about to get into a fight. We were about to start throwing. Well, she was. I wasn't about to, but she was about to start throwing hands. And I think it was at that point that I realized that I don't think this is worth it. I think my parents might have been right. I don't think I need this. So honestly, that whole saga did not last very long for me. But as I understand it, for you, it took you a bit longer to get to the conclusion that maybe you shouldn't be using social media in the way that you were. So
I think so you're done with your story?
Yes.
Okay. I think for me it was let's say it wasn't like one final thing, but it was like a long process of kind of, I guess I would say, growing up, learning about the world, and more specifically just not really liking the person I was on social media, and also the way it made me feel. Because I think like on one hand, early on throughout like high school was when I was using it a lot, and I was using it for like memes, and I was using it to, communicate with people and keep up with people and post pictures and whatever, share stuff, get political or whatever. And I know I'm like I feel like I'm a very addictive, or I'm a person with an addictive personality in that that sounds weird, in that I get addicted.
That's what it's called.
Okay. Well, to me, the wording sounds weird because it's like, oh, people get addicted to my personality, but it's like, no, I get addicted to things easily.
Yeah.
And so I would just spend a ton of time on Facebook, with, infinite scrolling and I guess
scrolling.
Huh?
Doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling?
Yeah.
Is that a phrase?
Yeah.
Interesting. Why do they call it that?
Because you're just scrolling and scrolling, and it's like, okay, I don't know like the etymology of doom scrolling, but it's basically what you're describing.
But I think throughout high school I just didn't like that. I think the more I used Facebook, the more, I guess, depressed I got, but also the more I wanted to use it. And it was just kind of this thing where it's like, it was also, I feel like, getting popular on like news articles and stuff like that, where people are reporting like, is social media bad for you? And I was really buying into that. And I guess I still...
That social media was bad for you? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
I was really buying into that because I already felt like crap. So now it's like, well, if the news says it's bad for me, I'm like, sure. But I still used it.
But what was making you feel like crap?
Well, I guess that's a good question. I think it was partially the amount of time I was spending on it, but also not getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
Where I guess I'm just consuming. And I guess it's hard to like explain, but I guess mentally it's like trying to like eat a meal, like eating something worth of substance, like a movie, a book, a show, even a decent YouTube video. It's like that's something of substance, and it takes your time, but you get something out of it.
Yeah.
And for me, Facebook was eating up all of my time, where I'd spend hours on it and really get like a good meme out of it, like, or maybe one like news article where I was like, oh, that's interesting, I learned something, but most of it's just empty. I guess it's like eating imaginary food or
NFT food.
Yeah, just it's almost like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat dinner, and then you just have like oxygen like for a meal. Like it was very, for the most part, very like soulless and empty, which and this is something even my mom related to, where it was like both of us were spending tons of time on Facebook, and she scrolls before bed, she does it in between work, she does it on her lunch break, and both of us would kind of talk to each other and be like, yeah, I was on Facebook a little bit today, and it's like, yeah, I feel like crap. Like neither of us enjoyed it, and both of us felt kind of I guess like just depressed because of it. So that's maybe how it made me feel. But then I guess, do you have another question you'd like to ask?
Well, no, but I was going to say that I do kind of relate to that, because even after I had started using social media like pseudo-anonymously, I think that's the word, where I didn't follow anyone that I knew and I didn't attach my real name to anything, I was following like a bunch of artists and stuff, primarily on Instagram, and this is before they got rid of the chronological feed. So this is back in 2015, 2016. And I think I really got the, feeling bad thing, but I think it was mostly because at that point in my like art journey, I felt like I wasn't as good as some of the other artists, and I was trying to find ways to be as good as them and, get as many likes and followers that they had. And one thing that I've come to realize is that there are a lot of artists on Instagram also, but Twitter as well. Their art might be fine and they have a lot of followers, but there might be some other unknown artist whose art is like better, like technically, or, I don't know. I just like it more personally. So after a while, I began to this is after I left Instagram, but after a while, I began to realize that, likes and followers did not equate how good you were as an artist. So at that point, I was able to kind of make peace with it. And I do like where my art is at the moment.
House Creek.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Anyway, I do like where my art is at the moment. Sometimes I have a crisis of style, but, I feel like all artists have that, visual artists anyway, and written artists too. But, there were definitely some feelings of inadequacy, and I don't think you were talking about feelings of inadequacy with yours. It's just, the whole doom scrolling thing.
I do have that. I just didn't get into it because it's like for me at least, I told you before, as we were talking about this topic idea of just like there's a lot of lore there for me. And so, I think I had feelings of inadequacy, but we can get into that.
Yeah. And also Instagram is just a cesspool for artists. There's a lot of art theft. I feel like people are especially messy on Instagram for some reason, even more than Twitter, which is a big feat. And also, what else? I mean, just the algorithm isn't bad, because before, they would sort posts as they came out, so chronologically. But now it's like algorithm based, where you see like the most popular posts, which, I mean, if you're already doing great on Instagram as an artist, then that's fantastic for you. But if you only have like 60 followers and like get 4 likes per drawing, then you're basically left in the dust. So it's not great for artists. I don't like Instagram. Purely being owned by Facebook/Meta makes me also not like it. But gosh, I had another point that I was going to say. Something along the lines of the feelings of inadequacy.
I think I was while you remember that, I wanted to say, I think something else that I disliked kind of all throughout the time that I was using social media, which I, for the most part, don't now.
I remember.
Well, I guess I want to finish my point.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess hold on to it.
Nope.
But for the most part now, I don't use social media, with like some small exceptions. And even then you could argue if they are or aren't.
And we will.
Yeah. But I think I didn't, when it was first starting, me at my young age of middle school, it was just Facebook. And then it's like, all right, now there's Instagram, now there's Twitter, now there's Snapchat, now there's whatever. And like, I think I hated how it's like I needed to have all of them. And I never did that. I only, even like when I still had social media, I only had Facebook, and I didn't want Snapchat. I didn't want Instagram. I didn't want Twitter, and any others that I am not remembering right now.
Well, the thing that I remembered while you were saying that is that I also did a lot of the doom scrolling on Instagram when I was on Instagram, because, I didn't want to miss any, cool new drawings any artists that I had followed had posted. So when I would wake up in the morning, gosh, this is going to sound wild. And looking back on it, it was definitely wild. But when I would wake up in the morning before I even brush my teeth, I would check Instagram, try to scroll through all the posts and just see everything. And I suppose I was getting something out of it because I got to see cool art, but it was taking up a lot of time. So I would even argue that, sometimes with Twitter, it's not the first thing I do in the morning. The first thing I do in the morning is make coffee now. But when I boot up my computer, I do check Twitter and just scroll through all the posts. I'm not reading everything, and I'm not looking at everything, but sometimes I find, some good gems, some interesting things. But I suppose you could also say I'm really not getting a whole lot out of it. I check the trends too. Sometimes I see, not really news, because I don't really get news from Twitter, because I don't know, it's not the best place for news because it's all sort of kind of curated, but also not at the same time. But honestly, I'm just there for the drama and the things going on, because I don't know. I really like Twitter drama, and for the entertainment value, because obviously, right, these are not people that I know. This isn't anything that's going to impact my real life at all, which I think is why I can enjoy it so much. For instance, Azalea Banks and Julia Fox were beefing the other day, and it was the funniest thing ever. Oh my goodness. Just seeing people, I guess, kind of talk about it and riff on it and make memes about it. It's just galaxy brain entertainment for me, but
I feel like just by you saying it's the funniest thing ever, I have negative interest now. Never talk about it again in my presence.
Why? I mean, you probably wouldn't be interested in it anyways, which is why I haven't brought it up to you. But I don't know. I know you don't know who Azalea Banks is, but anytime Azalea Banks starts beefing with someone, which is often, it's usually a spectacle. So
maybe I just didn't. I exaggerated, which is hypocritical, because I was gonna say also I just didn't like the hyperbole.
Well, it was really funny to me though. I was giggling at work.
But was it the funniest thing you've ever seen?
Okay, Joseph, we all know that I'm prone to hyperbole. I don't know why you're acting brand new with this. So just go along with it.
So what? I want to dig into some of my lore, but I'm not sure where to start. So I guess, do you have any questions? To start digging into this lore.
I know you mentioned it when I mentioned feelings of inadequacy. So is this, maybe stemming from the perfect lives that people that we know put on Facebook versus, real life, or what's going on there? Not
quite. I think social media started in middle school, and then my kind of breakup with it, we'll say, started in college. And part of that was the feeling of inadequacy, but it wasn't like other people are living a better life than me. It was around college, I was honestly becoming which I'd have to think more on this, but I was becoming very depressed and kind of nihilistic, genuinely, where it was nothing matters. I don't care about anything. And I guess part of that was influenced by maybe media I was consuming and the way I was feeling, and just starting college. It's a new phase of life and it's intimidating, but I'm still sort of dancing around the question, not intentionally. I'm just kind of trying to get all my thoughts out.
Well, I think that's wild, because I feel like I felt like that a lot in high school, but going to college, I don't want to say give me a new lease on life, because that felt like I did not want to live previously, which is incorrect. But I just felt like, having a fresh slate in college, was a really good thing for me, mental wise. So
I think, so to answer the question, the feeling of inadequacy wasn't comparing my lives to others. It was, what really upset me was I have on Facebook, I have all these friends. I think I had, I'll say 100, probably less, of like friends. And I'll say like friends with like quotes around it.
Yeah.
And I think what upset me was, I take the word like friend very seriously. I feel like when I really think about it, I don't want to like just call anybody like friend. And so thinking on that, it was like, okay, I have these like 100 something friends, but then it's like, I put a post, let's say, that I really care about. And this could even go back to middle school. This happened in high school, and this happened throughout my whole time on social media, where it's like, I post on Facebook like, yo, my little sister's been born. You know what I mean? Like some cute pics, some just, celebrating this like new life into the world. Pretty big thing.
Yeah.
And then I have like 100 friends. I get like 5 likes.
Yeah.
And I think that really, I guess, upset me and kind of hurt, because it's like, it was more like, I really care about this, but it doesn't seem like anyone else does.
Yeah. Even
though they're my friends. And a less example is I get a girlfriend or something, and I post some. Well, I guess we talked about that in a previous episode. We weren't technically dating, so I guess I probably didn't make any posts.
Yeah.
But
you changed your relationship status to "it's complicated."
I say, what is it? In a relationship with the Bible. by command of her dad. But no, so I probably didn't do that. But maybe I would watch like an incredible YouTube video that I really liked, and I was like, yo, this video essay was amazing, like please check it out. And then like 0 likes, no one watches it. And for me, I don't think, and this still stands, but I still don't think I handle rejection very well. And it's not necessarily rejection, but it's just apathy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't blame those people, but I kind of didn't like the discrepancy of, we're friends, but like 99% of the people that I'm friends with, like, don't, I guess, care.
Interact with your posts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or don't show like an ounce of care, which is fine. They have every right to do that. But it really hurt me personally, because I would put something out there that I really care about, or really felt passionately about, or was a big moment in my life, like my little sister being born. And then 0 engagement, like 0 care. And that was my feeling of inadequacy, of like, no one cares about me. And I think since then I've kind of made my peace with that. But I made my peace with it by getting rid of social media, because it's not no one cares about me. Like, that's not true. I guess like I have a lot of people in my life that care about me right now. But for me, social media, I focused on that feeling, and it amplified that feeling, because I have all these friends that like, we're not that close, and now not having social media and only really having close friends, then it's like, if someone cares about me and we're close, then it's like, I'm good. And if someone doesn't care about me and it's like, they're just, an acquaintance or whatever, it doesn't affect me at all, because I'm not focusing on that, because it's not in my face, like on social media. Yeah. So I think those are my feelings of inadequacy.
Okay. I can definitely understand that. I think we differ on that, because I am very used to getting rejected. So, and also because I started using social media pseudo-anonymously at such a young age, I kind of got used to the fact that, I was shouting out into the void, and anyone interacting with anything that I put out there would be actually kind of rare. So, even when I do, I don't know, put out a YouTube video and like it flops, I don't really take it all that personally, because number one, it's not like I posted a YouTube video or okay, let's put it this way. It's not like I showed one of my videos to like a group of my family members and they just weren't paying attention at all, right? It's just like I don't know, broadcast one of my YouTube videos on a billboard on like the interstate, and some people are going to see it And some people are going to care about it and some people aren't going to care about it. But a lot of people are passing on the interstate. So, you know, I at least have the comfort of knowing that somebody's going to watch it. But I know that really, you know, realistically speaking, no one's really obligated to watch it. And the only thing that matters is that I'm, you know, what's the word? That I like what I put out. And if people watch it, then that's great. That's kind of been my philosophy with YouTube so far. Is that I need to like the things that I put out, and if people also like them, then that's on them. So
but for me, I feel like we are on the same page, maybe. Because...
And also, I think it kind of matters because the way that I've been using social media pseudo-anonymously is to make content for other people's consumption. So, like, even when I was doing my Sims blog on Tumblr when I was like 13, you know, it was with the assumption that this isn't like for my close group of friends. Close friends. This wasn't for a close group of friends. It wasn't like anything super duper personal, but it was something that I did put some effort into. But, you know, considering it was, especially the Sims community on Tumblr, at least at that time, it was kind of more tight-knit and like niche. I knew there would be like some interaction there, but again, I didn't expect a whole lot. So, what were you saying? I
was going to say, I think we are on the same page, though, because there's a difference between, like, it being anonymous and it being, I guess, tied to you and your identity. Where my issue was, I was putting all this out there as Joseph, and I think the way it's set up, it's like the only people that are going to see it are my friends, and then no one cared. But when I put stuff out anonymously, and then, and if I put something out anonymously and people don't care, then I'm fine. You know what I mean? Because it's not personal. It's just like, it is about the content. And, but if people do care, then it makes me feel even better than like if a friend cares.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I guess I have a couple examples, but for one, we can shout. I feel like I just want to shout out. Hopefully, they're still listening. But the one comment we have on YouTube on the podcast where they were like, "This is a good listen." Like, given that that's our only comment, I'm like, "Oh, I like that. I appreciate that." And it feels good because I don't know this person, and I don't, I guess, expect anything of them, but I appreciate it when they do.
Yeah, I think they're one of my regular viewers. I've seen them comment a few times, but well, shout out to that person. Big ups to that commenter. Forgot your name, but you're in our hearts.
Wait, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna look him up, but maybe later. And then other examples are, I think that's why I like Letterboxd, where I only have like a couple of friends on there, where it's just like, you know, I have like 3 or so friends on there. Yeah. And so when I get 1 or 2 likes, it's like, hey, that's a pretty good engagement rate. Like, and when I get a bunch of likes from like strangers, that feels even better. And I guess when I don't get any likes, it doesn't hurt that much, or it doesn't hurt at all unless I'm particularly proud of the review, and then it gets no attention if I think I made a good joke or a good insight into a movie. But I think that's why I like Letterboxd, because it's so small and niche, and it's mostly anonymous. And then my last example was before I had left Facebook, my freshman year of college, I really got into, our college had a anonymous
the Facebook group.
Yeah.
This, what was it? The Relationships Part 1? Yeah.
We had our school had an anonymous Facebook, not group, but like, I guess, board or page, where it was called BU Confessions. I don't know if we need to cut out the BU, but
we've mentioned Bellhaven.
Oh, okay.
And also I didn't cut it out in the first part.
Okay. So it was called BU Confessions.
It doesn't exist anymore, does it?
BU Confessions? Yeah. It might. I don't know. I don't have Facebook. Okay, while you're clickety clacking looking that up, which I don't know necessarily if I would want to read any of mine on the air. Maybe some of them, but not all of them.
Well, if it is still here, then it's likely that people are still posting.
Well, see, so I really enjoyed that because, one, it was interesting. It was interesting to just kind of put stuff out there, and it gets the same amount of engagement because it's, you know, it's anonymous. Like, you don't know who's posting what, and so everyone gets kind of the same amount of attention, generally speaking.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
View confessions.
So here, wait, before you start scrolling,
the last post was in 2018.
Really?
Wait, no, that one's pinned.
Okay.
The last post was in 2020.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we may be able to go into some of my old posts then, but then that might make this a two-parter because I got some stuff in there.
We don't have to go into it. It could be an exclusive.
I mean, it could be fun, but not.
Yo, what the heck?
I might want to.
Geez.
Wait. What is this?
This one?
What? Let me see.
Here, I'll turn it.
Oh, interesting. Oh, jeez.
Oh man, this is.
So it gets pretty juicy, but like you don't know like how true it is, I guess, because it's anonymous, but you kind of hope people are telling the truth. But like it was fun because it's like there's some shit posting, there's some drama, there's some tea, and I really liked it because I feel like I got the attention I wanted on there. And I posted on there like crazy. Here, wait.
This is spicy. Oh my god. I wonder who they're talking about.
Oh boy. Yeah, okay. Well, see, you're really getting to the juicy stuff, but when I left it and left Facebook, it really started dying out. Like no one was posting anything, no one was interacting with it, and so it really fizzled out. Yeah. It also fizzled out because like my parents knew. Or I fizzled out with it, but my parents knew I really liked it, and so they would like constantly be reading it and would try to like guess which ones were mine, which I
symphony from people,
which I hated. I made peace with it because like I enjoy much more anonymous things. I don't like feeling like I have friends that don't care about me, and Facebook made me really feel that way. So that's why I was also saying like BU Confessions and Letterboxd, and I guess just those two things really didn't make me feel that way.
I would say I feel like Letterboxd is kind of the, what is it?
The MySpace of movies.
No, exception. Letterboxd is the exception for me because I only kind of care about what the people that I know have to think about like movies, because I feel like, it makes for good discussion. So I don't particularly care about strangers' opinions about movies, which is why I don't like read other people's reviews unless it's like someone that I'm following. Like I feel like that is the only social quote unquote media that I use and actually interact with people that I know in real life. So we kind of already talked about switching to an anonymous presence. I guess I can go into it a bit further, and I've kind of hinted at it already. So you stick to like Letterboxd, and you say you're on Reddit.
I look at memes on Reddit. I don't.
Do you have an account?
No.
Okay. Well, I do.
Don't have the account. Don't have the app. I go on like occasional subreddits of mostly meme related.
Okay. Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
Of Reddit?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Reddit's so big and intimidating. I don't entirely know how to engage with it because there's like so many subreddits. But I like that if I want to look up news about Bo Burnham, I can go to the Bo Burnham subreddit. Reddit, as of right now, Reddit and like YouTube are like the only place I get memes. I like memes. What specifically were you asking of why is that?
Well, I didn't know why not. I have an account there. I've been on there.
I wasn't necessarily done. I just wanted you to elaborate. I was going to say that like I don't get the app because of the infinite scrolling. I really like when I go on r/dank memes on the Safari web browser, I can only go through about like 20 memes, and then it's like you have to click the next page. And because of my addictive personality, I like and need that limitation. If I can just scroll forever, I'm going to spend a lot more time on Reddit.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And so I feel like I appreciate Reddit engaging with it through YouTube. I like watching other people react to it.
So like Reddit videos.
Yeah.
The majority of Reddit does not like Reddit videos. I guess because they think they're poaching that content and making something off of it, I guess. I don't know. I don't particularly care. But yeah, I've been on Reddit since 2013, which honestly, probably the best and worst thing that could have happened. Man, honestly, Reddit is worse in me than Facebook would have been if I had stayed there. Because, good God, just so much has happened on Reddit since 2013. I mean, you had the Fappening, that was in 2014. That was wild. You had the whole Ellen Powell saga that lasted for like...
I know about the fappening. Was that a Reddit thing?
Yes. It originated on Reddit.
That was just an internet thing.
It originated. Well, it might have originated on 4chan, but I feel like at that point, 4chan and Reddit were kind of like cousins. Now they're strangers who don't know each other, but I feel like Reddit has become a lot more sanitized since then than 4chan has. 4chan's more or less stayed the same, but there's the fappening. There is the banning of a bunch of subreddits like Fat People Hate, which is blamed on Ellen Powell, but that really wasn't her problem. I wrote a whole Medium article about it, but which listener you should be reading. Anyways, there was that whole song, and that lasted for a long time. And then, I mean, since then, I can't really think of any major, like, Reddit drama that's gone on that's been, like, site-wide. Some subreddits went, like, private in protest of people spreading COVID misinformation. So, and there was a lot of major subreddits doing that, too. But I feel like now I don't really use Reddit as much as I used it in the past. But, you know, it's the whole just discovering such fetid corners of the internet, like incels, and a lot of like men's rights activist things. And honestly, you know, I think I might have been better off not discovering the things that I discovered on Reddit, such as incels. Like, I could have gone my whole life not knowing who these people were, or just having them inhabit my brain space a lot, because I, for some reason, have become morbidly fascinated by these people. Like, how does their brain work? So, like, I want to study them like they're specimens or something, you know, from like a sociological standpoint. But I don't know. Maybe I would have been better off not worrying about that. Or, you know, I discovered Chris Chan through Reddit, which I know you probably don't know who that is.
So I guess PewDiePie's covered him a little bit, but I never watched those videos. So I feel like I know there is a riveting story about Chris Chan, but I don't know it.
You're better off not knowing.
Really?
I promise you, you're better off not knowing.
I'm kind of significantly more curious about it now.
Well, I'll tell you this. Currently, he's sitting in jail for incest charges. So you're better off not knowing, and I promise you that. Because if you have an addictive personality, you will not climb out of that hole. Because
how deep is the Chris Chan hole?
It goes entirely too deep. This is probably one of the...
Well, it's like, okay, I feel like just saying to someone you're better off not knowing, or you're better off not doing blank, that makes them want to do it more. Like,
yeah, I know, but...
maybe I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm speaking for myself and maybe some other people like me, but it's like, I guess I didn't look up this video out of curiosity. Someone else showed it to me. But have you seen Two Girls, One Cup?
I would always hear about it, but I've managed to evade it my whole life. So, you know.
So I guess it is one of those things where, like, I would say it's one of those videos where it's like you're better off without it. Yeah. But at the same time, like, for me, I feel like I'm just more of a curious person where I'm like, I kind of want to know. Similar to with so I have seen that video, so I can now say, yeah, better off without it. Like, yeah, you know, it's not great, but I'm more curious about the other one, One Man, One Jar.
It's just gore.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I've had it described to me, so it's fine. You don't need to go through all that. But
it's the morbid curiosity for me. I
know, but the Chris Chan thing, honestly, that like started to weigh heavily on me, just given how depressing this entire person's life has been. And eventually I just had to like forcibly stop myself from engaging with all of that, just so I could like have a break from having that in my brain space. So things are not going to get better for Chris Chan ever, I don't think. Like I said, he's currently sitting in jail for incest charges. So yeah, every so often I go to the Quickie. That's what his wiki is called. And I check to see if the trial has actually started, because he got arrested last August and they kept putting continuances on his trial. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but all I know is that it hasn't started yet. And I don't know when it will start. I'm interested to see how it plays out, but I can't do any more deep dives on it because it's just not great for the mental space, you know? And I kind of consider myself someone who doesn't get easily, I guess, I don't know, freaked out by, not necessarily freaked out, but easily disturbed by things. But I don't know, man, there's just some things in the Chris Chan timeline that you really are better off without knowing.
Mm.
So just save yourself the strife and just don't look it up. I mean, you can look up, there are some videos that are shorter that go into the general timeline, but the Geno Samuel documentary, you don't need to see that. It's like 40 something parts. It's very long. I've watched the whole thing and he's still not finished. And even he had to take a break because trying to recount all of the just wild, wacky, crazy, and insane things that have happened to Chris Chan, it weighs on you. And I'm not trying to, feel bad for Chris at all, because despite all the circumstances, he kind of did this to himself. So I have no sympathy for him.
So I feel like we have to cut this out. This is so vague.
Yeah, I know, like, but
and
if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
All you're doing is making me more curious. Like, I feel like I'm gonna look up like the Wikipedia article on Chris Chan and be like, I want to know like the story.
Well, I don't think you'll get much out of the Wikipedia, but I shouldn't even be telling you that. So, social media. What was I gonna say? So, okay, you switched to Letterboxd and a limited amount of Reddit. I'm on a lot of social media, but each platform that I use is for, I want to say, like a specific purpose. So, for instance, I'm on Tumblr. She's still around, despite it all. And I do post my art on there, but I also made another Symboler, which is separate from the one that I made when I was like 13. So I like remade one. And I interact with a lot of Sims content, which is great because I like The Sims. There's very limited amounts of drama in there. There is some drama, but by the time I see it, I don't know what's going on. So like I kind of don't care. So that's great. And then honestly, all of the artists have been run off of Tumblr because of the booby ban. So there's not a whole lot of art there, but what I do see, it's great. Twitter, mostly for art. I do, I obviously have an account for my YouTube channel, and I do use that occasionally. Sometimes, if I want to tweet something, I'll put it on my art account, which is, for all intents and purposes, my main account. And, other stuff I'll put on my, I guess, YouTube account. It's kind of like having a Finsta, but it doesn't really matter because...
I thought, starting college, finding out people had 2 Instagram accounts. They had an Instagram and a Finsta.
Yeah.
That, I feel like that was where that was a big thing where I drew the line, where I was like, that is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Why do you need 2? It's
dumb, but it makes sense because if you use social media the way that it's intended, which is to connect with people that you actually know, then obviously you don't want every little thing going out to those people that you know. Sometimes you want to just yell into the ether, and that's why you created a Finsta.
But even then, you still share it with some of your friends.
Yes, the ones that you allow to see it. Right? Like, I wouldn't tell everybody things that I would tell you, right? So it's like, it's different levels of trust there. So like, if my mom is following me on my hypothetical Instagram account, and, I have another account with all my thought friends, then I don't want to post all my thoughty pictures on my main account, and I just put them on my Finsta so that me and my thought friends can thought it up together. I don't have any thought friends, by the way, and I don't thought it up, but I think it's about time I had a thought era because, now that I'm an adult, I feel like I should be allowed to thought it up a little bit. Why are you laughing?
I don't know. I can't tell if you're serious or not.
A little bit,
and I'll join you. It's time for the Joseph Thought era.
Well, I mean, you can't because you're cuffed.
What does that even mean? Oh,
in a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really thought it up. Unless you get permission. Then, we could thought it up together. Why are you laughing?
Come on.
What?
Come on.
What?
I don't know. I feel like you're verbally shitposting, and yet you're taking it seriously. You're like, why are you're pulling a Norm Macdonald? You're like, why are you laughing? That's not funny. As I proceed to laugh harder.
Well.
Did you know 9/11 was a tragedy?
What is this leading into?
It's not. It's one of his jokes.
That's it? That's the whole thing?
Well, I don't fully understand his humor. I've only started learning about it after his passing, but it seems like some of his humor is build up to what you think is going to be a joke, and then the punchline is that it's not a joke.
Yeah, because you have the long stories that build up into nothing.
I mean, it doesn't have to be long.
Well, yeah, but some of them are long.
But so then they laugh at something inappropriate, like him just saying he's telling like a short story, and then And then he just kind of like stops in the middle of it or ends with like, yeah, and like 9/11 like was a national tragedy. And then his friend cracks up and he's like, why are you laughing? Like, and it cracks me up too. Like, but I don't know if I fully understand it.
Well, maybe I've been reincarnated as
Norm Macdonald,
but I didn't die or be born. So
be born.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Twitter mainly for art. Sometimes, I'll post different things on different accounts. I mean, that's kind of it, really. Oh, yeah, I do use Reddit, just like I literally just said. But, I like to have a curated experience on there. I do still follow a lot of the default subreddits. But at some point, Reddit, this just shows how long I've been on this hell site. But Reddit changed their default subreddits to, like, a different set. So I think how they rationalized it was, like, something that greater reflected the Reddit community. And basically, when a sub turns default, it basically becomes garbage because then every new user who signs up is automatically subscribed to it. So you get a bunch of whack jobs in there. So, yeah, I am still subscribed to some default subreddits, but I felt like Reddit kind of turned me into a cynical person, especially when I was in high school. Because I feel like the vibe there is just that everyone on Reddit is like depressed and has social anxiety. And they love to tell you that. And they are not ashamed of it, but they don't want to do anything to like improve that. They just want to sit in their depression and be content with being socially anxious.
I feel like, but isn't Reddit what you see is the circles you're engaging with? So
exactly. But
you're just putting yourself on blast.
No, since I am subscribed to a lot of default subreddits, that's like the main sentiment on Reddit. Reddit, it has it's a hive mind, and people on Reddit say this a lot. It's a hive mind, and it's like, anytime someone posts and asks Reddit like, what's your favorite album, Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon is gonna be like the top answer. Like, I feel like in some Ask Reddit posts they can ask a question, I can like already know what the top comment is gonna be, because that's just how like everyone, it seems that like that anyways, but everyone kind of thinks the same, which is wild.
Well, I feel like,
and I don't like that, by the way.
I feel like you're generalizing way too much, because like how I've heard Reddit described is it's almost like a mini internet. You know what I mean? Like you can find, I guess whatever you can find on the internet, you can find like a community for it on Reddit. So it's like, if you want,
the 6th most trafficked website in the world.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
But so it's like, if you want,
Reddit is very popular, even though they like to pretend, they're just a niche little website that, we're not social media. Yes, you are, number one, and everyone knows about you already. So stop pretending. I hate it. Okay.
This is weird. I
have a love-hate relationship with Reddit in my adult life. So yeah.
Well, okay. I think it's interesting. Like, it's not like it's not like all of Reddit is bad or all of Reddit is a hive mind, because I guess you have...
Well, that's it. That's like the irony of it. So it's like, okay, so it's a hive mind, right? And so that means that more or less everyone thinks the same. But it's also, they like try to claim that it's not like that, even though it kind of is like that.
But it isn't, because like, I guess I haven't looked... It is
on the most trafficked subreddits, which are the ones that I am still subscribed to, right? So I follow a lot of like kind of niche subreddits.
You haven't even let me say what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're getting at, but I'm trying to like, I know what you're gonna say. But it's only like that on the bigger subreddits, the default subreddits, which I frequent because I'm still subscribed to them, because I do kind of like the content that is on them. It's not like that on the smaller subreddits. For example, I follow the RimWorld subreddit, and I think it has maybe over 100,000 subscribers now. But it is a pretty niche game, and, but still, even then, it's like a lot of the same, like, inside jokes that are circulated a lot. So, like, human leather hats and war crime simulator. You don't know what I'm talking about, but if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And then, of course, in the r/metalcore subreddit, which is what I use to, like, find a lot of, like, new music to listen to, there's still, like, the popular bands that are going around every so often, like Spirit Box, they're on the come up on there. Era, they're on the come up on there. So you'll have a lot of the same stuff posted, and it gets like upvoted a lot because it's popular. So that's kind of what I'm getting at there. I feel like I have spent a lot more time on Reddit than you have. So I feel like I understand this on like a visceral level, which is to my detriment.
Well, I was just gonna say, like,
8 years on that website.
I was just gonna say
Go ahead.
that, like, I'm pretty confident in saying, like, you could probably find a subreddit for, like, I guess, far right conservative views, and
you can find a lot of them.
You can find a subreddit for, like, far right or far left liberal views. You can find a lot of those. You can find a lot of. You can find, I guess, a subreddit on, like, Christianity. You could find a subreddit on, like, atheism.
Yeah,
and
it gets
like
clowned on a lot. It used to be default. No longer.
What is it?
You can find a subreddit on just about anything.
But so, I guess, I don't know. I feel like you interrupted me too much. I'm upset. I guess I was just going to say, like, it's clearly not a hive mind as a whole, but I guess you could say the individual subreddits maybe on a subreddit level, then like maybe a little bit, but not as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of gripes with the site.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after spending so much time there and having it affect my psyche in such a way that is, like, identifiable, and I kind of have to, like, undo that within myself.
Mm-hmm.
I really shouldn't be on Reddit, but I still am. You know, it's like an abusive relationship, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just keep going back and I just keep getting hit in the face. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. Social media.
Hey, you gotta improve your segues. I like let me dive back into my lore.
All right. How do you want to dive back into your lore? Just to remind you, you've been at 1 hour and 11 minutes.
Well, do you have any questions? Because I guess
I have a suggestion for you.
Me? Yes. Okay.
So you say that you said your reasons for why you don't like social media, and you said the ways that you do like social media, and this is not something that you have to do, because honestly you'd probably be better off not doing it. But I've said this to you before, but you can really have whatever social media that you're on be a heavily curated experience. Like, I could unsubscribe to all of the default subreddits on Reddit and just subscribe to things that I actually like, and then I would have a good time. But I don't do that because I'm dumb. But let's just say, so, you know, you're into gaming a lot. You can follow a lot of, specifically on Reddit, you can follow a lot of gaming-related subreddits and only see that kind of stuff and not, you know, things you're uninterested in. And maybe you don't even have to, like, post things there. You can just kind of consume and upvote, but not, like, comment or anything like that. And let's say for, I don't know, any other platform that you're on, you can, you know, curate that experience to be something that you like. You know, the block button is free, the mute button is free, and I feel like most social media places, specifically Twitter, because that's where I spend most of my time, you can really, like, heavily curate it so that, you know, certain words or topics are, like, muted or blocked and you don't even see them. So I feel like social media is basically what you make of it, you know, if that makes sense.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. Why do you disagree?
Well, I guess some of my lore is, in college I was starting to, like, watch these kind of, oh my god, you brushed my foot. I was starting to watch these, we'll call them a news article that, you know, these sites posted on YouTube, I guess.
Okay.
When I think of video essay, I think of YouTuber, but it's like these were, like, published companies by, like, Vox or, like, Vice or, I don't know, the New York Times or something.
Yeah.
And basically, like, I was watching videos where they were kind of they were basically just talking about why social media isn't good for you and how it is designed to be addictive. And so I don't like the infinite scrolling. And it's like, I don't think you could change that because, as far as I know, I don't know of any website or app where you have infinite scrolling and then you'd be like, I don't want infinite scrolling, because then people would probably choose that and then the company would make less money.
This is true. So that is your main gripe with it, with social media, is the addictiveness of it, not necessarily the content. It's
not my main gripe. I mean,
okay.
It's a big gripe. I feel like I have several gripes, but
But it's one of them. It's a contributor.
It's a big one, yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't think. Well, okay. I'm partially speaking for myself because I think I'm a person that doesn't have much self-control. So when there is infinite scrolling, I will infinitely scroll. I have a very hard time just, like, stopping. And so,
like, you don't even get bored at all, or start seeing the same stuff and just, like,
that might. No, I do, but it's like I almost, like, torture myself with it, like, genuinely, where it's like I can't stop. It's partially, we haven't really gotten into this, and I guess, like, but it's partially why I really hate YouTube Shorts being on YouTube now because it's infinite scrolling, and it's like a lot of nights I'll be like, oh, it's 12. I need to go to bed, wake up for work tomorrow. And then it's like, I'll just look at one YouTube short, and then like it's 2 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
definitely stay off TikTok.
And I hate myself. Yeah, no, it's why I never downloaded TikTok. You know?
Not the surveillance?
Huh?
Not the surveillance?
That was a reason too. Oh, but I knew I would get addicted to it. I guess I feel like it works on me because of who I am, but it is, I guess what those videos were talking about is it's designed to work on everyone. Like, you want to click those push notifications. You want to scroll as much as you can. And that makes companies money, and that gets you more ingrained and more addicted to the product. And I think, I don't remember where I heard this, but something really interesting I heard somewhere on YouTube, I don't know if it was a podcast or a video, was it's interesting. Basically what they were saying, whatever this YouTube video or podcast was, they were saying like, you kind of underestimate, I guess consumers kind of underestimate the price of free, where like Facebook is marketed as a product, but like in reality, you are the product. Your information and that data and like what you like, dislike, and all of that is the product. And so I feel like I didn't and do not like that of, I guess, just being used that way and manipulated that way, where they design it to be addictive and for you to spend as much time on there as possible. And I really don't like that. And
I guess it's kind of promising because, at least in Europe, there's starting to be laws against that. So the EU specifically has, the GDPR? I don't know what it stands for, but it's basically like against data collection, and especially against the data collection of children. So basically what Facebook is doing has been made illegal. And I don't know if you know this, but they've been threatening, Facebook and Instagram as a whole has just been threatening to leave Europe, like be not available there. So
I think, so what is it? I was just going to say,
because they can't make money there.
I think my whole point of that spiel, or that answer of like my lore and whatever, was that I understand that you can make social media, like you can curate it and make it what you want it to be for you, but it's really hard when it's designed to, I guess, make something of you, you know, and I guess make you a product, make you an addict, and get you to use it as much as possible. It's really hard to avoid that. And I feel like with the social medias that I do use, I guess we'll say YouTube, Reddit, and Letterboxd, like I not having the Reddit app, and I guess I don't know what the Letterboxd app is like, but not having the Letterboxd app, and then YouTube.
It's kind of like the site, I guess.
I would say YouTube, like before Shorts was added, like was all of those are very curated and controlled by me, but because of who I am and how my brain works, like YouTube constantly makes it harder, where it's like now the homepage and the recommended page is like the first thing you see instead of your subscriptions, and now there's Shorts with infinite scrolling and all this stuff. And so it's very hard, for me at least, it's very hard to like fight back against. Yeah. But I am encouraged by, I guess, I'm hoping that one day, like all of this, I guess, what is it? It's too broad.
Well, all of this is made illegal.
Yeah. No. I was going to say just, I guess I want more regulation. I feel like this may sound a little bit like we live in a society, but it kind of seems like we're not far off from like kind of like the Blade Runner, like dystopian future, where it's like corporations kind of are like the government, you know what I mean? Like they have more power than the government. And for me, I feel like the internet is so... They
already do, though.
Huh?
They kind of already do.
I know. So I guess it's like we do be living in a society. And so hopefully I look forward to the day where like the government can regulate this stuff some more. And the internet's just so vast and so huge that I don't think it's really hard for like any one person to like really wrap around like the comprehensiveness of it, because it's like the world isn't just like the world anymore. I feel like it's gotten like 3 times as big with the vastness of the internet. And like, I don't know if we ever watched part 2 of that Roblox video, or if we ever watched part 1.
We did watch part 1.
Okay.
I don't know if we watched part 2 though.
But it's like that Roblox video. I guess shout out to what is it? People Make Games.
Yeah.
That like game.
Basically, they were talking about how very young developers were getting
exploited.
Yeah.
In Roblox
for their labor, which is illegal.
Where it's fascinating to me because it's like the internet now has like micro internets. You know what I mean? Where it's like a little society in Roblox and a little economy in Roblox.
Yeah.
And what I thought was a very unique take on it presented in that video. I guess it's a great video. You should check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Was how he said like, yo, it took me weeks to wrap my head around all of this. And like, if these practices were happening in the real world instead of online, they would be illegal.
Yeah.
You know? And so like, if it takes like a dude in his 40s and like a, you know, relatively good with tech and like, I guess is a journalist, like does research and stuff. If it takes him like hours and weeks to wrap his head around one like website, then like how can like, I guess like government officials and like legislators like even understand, and especially when they're like old, understand the internet and how to like regulate it. And I feel like that's...
Have you seen any of those Senate hearings with like social media companies?
Mark Zuckerberg? I feel
not just that one, but there's been like a few with like different companies.
I feel like I've just seen some of them with Mark Zuckerberg.
There was the main first one where he's sitting on the booster seat and drinking the water weird. There have been a few more after that one.
I've also experienced it like through memes. Like the YouTuber Ian Kung has a great video where like I guess he's playing both characters. He's playing Mark Zuckerberg and the senator speaking or whatever. And he's like, so like, what's your response to stealing all these people's privacy and data or whatever? And then he plays Mark Zuckerberg and he's like, that's a great question. You know, we at Facebook, and he gives some BS answer. And then the senator's second question is like, oh, and our next question, what is an internet? Like, and so, and he's like, great question. Like, and so.
I know, because in one of these like Senate committee meetings where they were talking to, I think it was some people specifically with Instagram, one of the senators asked, so what are we going to do about this Finsta? They literally asked that. And so the people in charge currently have no clue what they're even trying to regulate, which is a little scary.
I don't necessarily blame them. Like, I guess they're old. Like, it's very new and it's hard to wrap your head around, even us who like grew up in it.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily blame them, but it is still super scary.
Yeah. I definitely blame them. If you're going to be on like a special Senate committee for a specific thing, at least know a little bit about the thing. You know, like I feel like they just assign. Big. I know, but they just assign the most random people to Senate committees. So I don't know, man. If you watch any amount of C-SPAN like I have, then you'll know that nothing can get done up there. What are they even doing up there? What is their job? Like what is it that they do? Take a long time to vote on things? Because that's the only thing that I see. But anyways.
Yeah, you might really like the Star Wars prequels because it deals with that a little bit.
Taking a long time to vote on things?
Politics. And just like, maybe like...
I don't care about it like that. It's just, you know, I was bored at work like a couple of days when I like first started my job. So I thought, okay, I'll start watching C-SPAN, see what's going up on Capitol Hill. And they always take so long to vote on things because there's a time limit for votes. But they still accept votes after that time. If you haven't put your vote in when the time is up, you just don't get to vote. You know? It should be like that. Why are you still accepting votes? Shut it down. Make it, people have to be there to vote, okay? Make it so that people have to be there to vote because they don't have to currently. Like, where are these people even at? Your job is in the Capitol. Where are you? Why aren't you voting on these things? Like, why do you have to appoint someone else to vote for you? You know, government, not exactly known for being efficient, but, you know, I can still be mad about it. Anyway, do you have something else you wanted to say?
I guess I was going to say, like, I guess the world we're living in now where it's like Mark Zuckerberg's...
that we live in, text.
Mark Zuckerberg's trying to start, like, the metaverse and all that stuff where it's like social media is becoming... like a way of life and like the new way of life. At least that's how they're trying to market it. And like, I guess I would say you probably know more about like politics and how the government works than I do. But I guess trying to be a little nice, trying to give a benefit of the doubt is like the bigger things get, the more complicated they get. So if you think of like, I don't know, I guess maybe I'm just thinking of like the government as like a car, you know, a car engine. And like when it gets bigger and bigger, it's hard to know like maybe what the problem is. And like for things, if one thing goes wrong, then it kind of ruins everything, you know? And so I guess I don't know a whole lot, but I'm trying to be nice, but I also don't know.
You don't have to be nice to the government. They don't deserve it, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to be mean.
Maybe it's the government in general. It's not like a specific... I feel like...
That's what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. Well, okay. I don't know. There's a lot I have to learn.
Yeah.
But I feel like in practice, I'm more optimistic than I like feel. Or I feel like I try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
I am too. I'm just being spicy on the pod, but you know.
It's all good.
You don't have to be nice to the government, though.
You know, I just can't stop thinking about quantum physics, you know?
Why?
No, it's a meme. It's a meme.
Well, I'm unfamiliar.
It's a meme. It was reviewed on PewDiePie, basically. It was just like, I think like Ninja put out some tweet or something like, yo, my mind is so blown by quantum physics. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, you know,
what is he up to these days?
I don't know.
He's not the new hotness anymore.
Yeah, it's weird.
Took his money and ran.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like anytime I see like YouTube videos of him, it's just old stuff. Like he's not.
Does he even?
He's irrelevant, as Rice Gum would say.
Rice Gum, someone who is incredibly irrelevant.
Yeah.
Apparently has like a family channel now.
Won't fight iDubbbz.
Was that supposed to be a thing that was going to happen?
iDubbbz is trying to put on like a boxing match, and he was
Currently?
like, "Yeah, like legitimately." And he was like, "Yo, Rice Gum, let's fight. Like, we'll have a referee. We're gonna do the Logan Paul and KSI thing. Like, let's fight." And then like Rice Gum just completely ghosted him. Like, he's like,
"That doesn't surprise me."
Yeah,
in the least bit.
No, I'm now I need to.
I know he posted like another documentary length video, but I didn't watch it.
Wait. After shoot, tell me about this.
This was pretty recent. It's called Getting Away with It, but it's super vague. The thumbnail has Sam Hyde in it, who I can't even tell you who Sam Hyde is. I just know that I don't even know.
Okay, so the Rice Gum video is titled "You're Hiding from Me." And then what is it? Have you watched his other documentaries of Full Force or Ice Cream Man?
No.
They're excellent.
I don't doubt that, but they are kind of long, and I also don't know what they're about.
That's kind of what. Well, they're about. They're him. He kind of like, I guess, him being, I think, an OG-ish YouTuber, at the very least having been around a while.
I'd say he's like second wave YouTube.
Okay.
Not quite an OG.
But so him being a YouTuber who's been around a while, he is in love with the platform and is fascinated by random YouTubers. And so his documentary series, which, you know, he's uploading like once a year, which I think is pretty cool. He basically picks a YouTuber and really wants to like know the person behind the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And he picks like really obscure people. So I guess like I'm trying to think of who. Okay, so for the first one, Full Force, it's about a YouTuber who, I guess his username is Airsoft Fatty. And then for the other guy, for Ice Cream Man, it is Brett Benowitz. I'm not sure. Dax Flame is the YouTuber. I don't know if that's his YouTube channel or not, but Dax Flame is.
Okay. Wait, let me see. Okay.
Anyway, they are really excellent. Like really in depth.
I wonder if this new one is actually about Sam Hyde. Because if it is, I think I will watch it.
I think it's about Sam Hyde.
Okay. Because I think for some reason, I don't even know how this started happening, but every time there's like a mass shooting, his picture always comes up being like, "Hey guys, this is a picture of the guy." Because he like took a picture of him with like a gun or something, and that's literally the only thing I know about him. So I might actually watch this one. Mm-hmm.
Well, I like legitimately, like, I don't know if we just need to have a movie night and like watch Full Force or Ice Cream Man, but like they're really good, like really, really good. Okay. It's like straight up, it's not just like a long YouTube video. Like it really is like,
it's like an actual documentary.
Yes.
Because some of these YouTubers, they're playing fast and loose with the word documentary on this platform.
No, it really feels like a real one.
All right. I'm just saying, some people do that.
I know. That's why I'm trying to sell you on it. Now I think we've gone a little bit on too much of a tangent.
Yeah, potentially.
Social media.
So, do you feel disconnected at all now that you're disengaged with social media in the way that you are?
Well, man, I feel like, okay, wait. I feel like...
Is it a well or is it a well I have to think about it?
It's a well I have to think about it.
Okay.
I still think I wish I still feel like we should make this a two-parter because I still have so much lore I haven't gotten into, Arin. Anyway, to
Joseph,
answer...
a documentarian, once said, you gotta know when to cut it off. You can't include everything.
Yeah, but I want to. I'm interesting. I am interesting. Anyway... and it also may be interesting for Melissa to hear some of this stuff because she doesn't know it either. But it's just because it like doesn't come up, you know.
Yeah.
I use this as an excuse to talk about things. But to answer your question, do I feel disconnected? I'm gonna say, I guess I want to say sort of yes, but I feel good about it.
Okay.
Because I guess some of the lore, something that influenced me. To finally kind of breaking off from social media. We've talked about this, but partially the work of Bo Burnham, specifically like I'll say, you know, his comedy special Make Happy, his movie 8th Grade, and more recently not his comedy special, but his whatever you want to call it, his project Inside. That was something that influenced me a good bit because I think he takes a bit of an anti-social media stance. Which, I don't know, it sounds extreme, but it makes sense if you watch them. Anyway, one thing that really kind of influenced me and was one of the many catalysts was in my sophomore year of high school, and it was Red Dead Redemption 2.
Is that when that came out?
Wait, sophomore year of college. I misspoke.
Oh, God.
I misspoke completely.
Okay. Not that old.
Yeah, no, I misspoke. I do that sometimes. Sophomore year of college, Red Dead Redemption 2. And what there was like, I was playing a mission. I didn't play much of that game because I was a little intimidated by it, as well as kind of annoyed at how detailed it was, where it's like, you can't just hunt a deer and like it just goes in your magic bag. You have to freaking haul that thing, put it on your horse, bring it to the shop before it spoils, sell it for like pennies.
Well, you don't like Cowboy Simulator?
I want to go back to it, but I don't think I'm a fan of like simulations. I like the ease of some video games. Or I like the easiness of video games. But I was playing a mission where your character, Arthur Morgan, had to Arthur? Yeah. Is that what I said?
No, that's how Dutch says it.
Arthur?
Right? Yeah.
I don't remember. But he had to get a letter to a woman. And I guess, you know, me being a sophomore in college, I'm learning about the world. I genuinely thought that was fascinating of like, I guess it's a video game and it's a mission, but like there were so many obstacles and so many like hindrances, as well as just the travel time of getting this letter to this woman.
So you never learned about the Pony Express prior to this, I'm assuming.
What?
The Pony Express?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's how they would get mail across the United States.
Well, I think she was like
across the West.
Well, she was like leaving or something. She was getting on a train, and so time was of the essence. But what I thought was fascinating was I was like, "Yo, like to communicate with someone had to be like so intentional. Where it's like you had to go through like the dirt and travel for like an hour or two just to get like, you know, in today's equivalent, a text message to someone, and I guess I was kind of, I'd say, moved by that and inspired by that because I feel like with how easy it is nowadays, it makes people care less. And so basically that just inspired me of like what I didn't like about social media is, I guess maybe this isn't necessarily lore, but just my opinion, is parasocial relationships where like it's unbalanced. People feel like they have a relationship, but they don't. And it's typically used to refer to, I guess, normal people with famous people and like fans of YouTubers and YouTubers. I would argue that most relationships on social media, even if you know the person in real life and were friends with them at the time, I would argue that most of those relationships are still parasocial because it's an idea of a relationship. It's like, just because you like know someone got married and had a kid, but if you haven't talked to them in 5 years, it's kind of pretending like you still have a relationship where you both know where you're at in life, but you don't know, I guess, the deeper level. You don't really know what's going on, and like you don't talk to them. There's no personal aspect to it. It's just the surface level. And so, yeah, I would argue that most, if not all, of relationships on social media are parasocial to an extent. And so that mission in Red Dead Redemption 2 inspired me to be like, all right, like if I actually care about someone and if someone actually cares about me, then we'll keep in touch. Like we will update each other. We'll talk to each other. And like, if we don't, then, that relationship has moved on. It doesn't matter anymore. And I think social media and having 100-something friends made me feel like those relationships still mattered, when I think in actuality they didn't. Like, I don't need to know who of my friends from middle school or high school are like married or have a kid now or where they're at in life. I want to focus on more like, I guess, the relationships that are in close proximity to me, and like, I guess, focus on those and grow those and not worry about like maybe what someone else's life doing where like they're not really in my life anymore. With some exception, I guess there are people that like I was very close to that like I still keep in touch with, like Patricia, David, I guess family. I guess you, while you were in Alabama. But I really loved the effort that, I guess, maintaining a relationship needed in that one Red Dead Redemption 2 mission. And yeah, so I guess I have chosen to disconnect because it makes connecting more meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely identify with that. I think for me though, when I had like moved on from my hometown, I didn't really care that much to keep up with the people that were there, which, I mean, it sounds sad. I don't really see it as sad, I was just really intent on moving on from there, starting somewhere else in my life, and honestly, at this point, it kind of sucks to say it, but I am not really intent on knowing, what's going on with the people I went to high school with. I've kind of moved on, which is kind of sad to say because, I did consider these people to be my actual friends at some point, and, they were a big part of my life while they were there. But people are in your life for different reasons and different seasons, and that's just kind of how I see it. My mom does occasionally update me with things that are going on at home. For instance, I think she was at a funeral recently, and she saw like 2 separate people who like asked about me. One of them was one of my high school principals, which I thought that was nice. And another one was a girl who I had graduated with. And I find it interesting that even after all this time, after almost 5 years, good God, since has it been 5 years? What's 2017? Hold on, I need to do the math. It's 2022 minus 2017. So
it's 5 years.
Yeah. Goodness.
Depending on the month. I mean, we're at the beginning of 2022.
Well, yeah, if you consider like May, then, which is when I graduated high school, then I guess I got a 5 years.
4.5 years. About.
Well, okay, May 2017 to May 2022. That would be 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I guess I got a 5-year reunion coming up. Anyways, I think it's interesting that people are still, wondering how I'm doing, where I am. But for the most part, very few people have asked about me, and I just kind of assume they've moved on, and that's fine. Like I said, people are in your life for different reasons and different seasons. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. So I guess I do feel a little disconnected from not even just the people I went to high school with, but the people I went to college with, because, I mean, aside from you and Melissa and a few other people that we both went to school with, I kind of, graduation was the last time that I saw a lot of people. So it'll probably be the last time I'll ever see some people. So, that's certainly interesting to think about, but, life life goes on. I find different people to care about and who care about me. So it's just, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. That really got depressing for a second. I didn't mean that.
For you?
I don't know.
I couldn't tell how you were feeling. I wasn't sure if we were on the same page or if you were trying to like counterpoint what I was saying, or if
No,
you were
I
just
thought we
kind
were
of
on the same page, but
okay.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you said, you know, certain people you went to middle and high school with, you know, if they don't care to catch up with you, then it's just over.
This is just something like Melissa and I have talked about, but like, I think what really, I guess, hurt me about social media was like, I felt like social media really taught me that like other people like don't care about me as much as I care about them. Which, not trying to like blast anyone, I guess, but I felt certain friendships very strongly, and I would love to reconnect with someone, but then when the feeling's not mutual, that kind of hurt. And I think social media was a outlet for that. It kind of allowed, I guess, that I would say unhealthy relationship to exist and was kind of a channel for that. And so it was kind of letting go of that and letting go of some relationships where it's just like, you know, I may have really liked this person in high school or middle school and I may have felt really close, but like, and I, being like a very nostalgic person, will think back on those times and still feel very close to that person. But then if the feeling's not mutual, I get very hurt by that, you know? Yeah.
I feel like I'm just kind of used to feeling that because, you know, the people throughout my life who I've considered like my best friend, gosh, it was something that someone had said to me that was really mean at the time, but it was also true, is that, you know, my best friend at the time, she's my best friend, but I'm not her best friend. And obviously they're saying that she's mean and hurtful to me, but it was true at the same time. And I kind of realized that. And I don't know if I've ever been like mutual best friends with someone, which is wild to say. I've never been mutual best friends with anyone. I've never been in mutual affection with anyone. Just no feelings are ever mutual for me. So I don't know. My feelings are mutual within myself though, which is all that matters. I like myself enough. And myself also likes me back enough. So, yeah.
One thing that like made me quit social media was like, I did have like a massive crush on like a girl that like I did not really know in person. Like we knew each other sort of in high school, and then we were friends on Facebook, but I guess I thought we got kind of like close on Facebook, but it was just like a Facebook thing, you know?
Interesting.
And so like that was something that I guess I sort of realized that wasn't as serious, not as serious, but like, let's say as serious of a friendship as I thought it was, because it was on Facebook. That's some of the lore that we didn't get into. Another thing is, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I've talked about it with you a lot of like, I don't like politics. I don't like talking about political subjects due to like how volatile it can be. Middle school me, however, I guess we'll say I dabbled a little bit. And looking back on those, that is something that made me dislike social media, because I disliked that everyone feels like they need to have an opinion, especially like middle schoolers that really don't know what they're talking about, which was me. I didn't like the person I kind of became, but I felt like I had to, because it's just like, that's the norm. That's what everybody's doing. So it's like, I may have mentioned this in passing with you, but it's like, I'm here in middle school or whatever, talking about like, I didn't do policy. Well, I was going to say like, great. I didn't do this often, but like occasionally something happens and I'll be like, yo, Obama's a bad president. I have no idea what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, and so like, and I feel like that's probably even more rampant today now on Facebook, where it's like everyone is kind of giving their opinion and saying what they think of whoever's in office at the time, of like I guess Trump's a bad president, Biden's a bad president. And like, I feel like I would argue that like 80% or more of people genuinely have no idea what they're talking about.
Now that would be interesting.
Yeah. There was just a lot of stuff. This also ties back into the crush that I had on the girl, where I was like, since
she was anti-vaxxer? Oh my God.
No, I was going to say that, this was back in like freshman year of college. Since our friendship was like entirely on Facebook, I was like, oh, what if like, and I was crushing hard. I was like, oh, what if she goes back and like looks at my Facebook? And so I went back and looked, and I was like, and so I just started deleting stuff. Yeah, I feel like it made it allowed me to be an idiot when I didn't, I'm a kid. There's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't need to be publicly.
Yeah.
And so that's some other lore. There's the BU confession stuff. There's the BU crushes stuff. I think that's all the lore off the top of my head that I feel like we could save for part 2.
Well, this was, did I say episode 5 or 6?
This is episode 6, I believe.
Episode 6 of the Not Just Arin podcast. Would you like to do the outro?
I would like to do the sponsorship.
Okay.
And say that this episode is brought to you by Illusio Neal, who is our only commenter on the podcast.
They follow our Twitter too. I
wanted to look them up and just, I guess, say like, I don't know, I appreciate the positive comment. Like, other than friends and family, like that's I guess the only verbal engagement we've had. So if they're still listening, I would like to shout them out and let them know that I appreciate them.
All right, big ups, Illusio Neal, our number 1 fan. Well, actually number 3, behind my mom and Melissa.
I think Illusio Neal's, if they've listened to.
Yeah, no, because they are our number 1 fan. Wow.
Even more than Melissa?
Well, they probably started listening first. And then
that doesn't matter. Illusio Neal is going to fight Melissa, be like, yo, I've been a fan longer than you. Like, by a couple hours. You're not an OG. You weren't there at the beginning.
Well, do you want to do the outro?
Peace.
That's it? Okay, well, you can follow the Not Just Arin podcast on Twitter and Instagram at NJAPod. You can listen to the Not Just Arin podcast on all major podcast platforms. That is Spotify, Apple, and Google, and Anchor.fm. But honestly, I don't think anyone uses that to listen to podcasts. I think they just use it to publish them. Not to set you out like that Anchor or anything, but I'm just...
Anchor, if you're listening, we're sorry.
You can also send us voice messages on Anchor.fm. I don't know what we're going to do with them, but if we get a significant amount of them, we might do a podcast surrounding them. So anything you wish to say, you can say it in voice form on Anchor.fm. What else? I feel like I'm always forgetting something. I will be posting the Cringy Warriors fan art onto our Twitter and Instagram before or after this episode goes up. So, I mean, if you want to know when I post it, you just got to be following us, I guess. Also, okay, I should have said this at the beginning, but I honestly kind of forgot. But we did a poll to see what time to actually post the podcast. So this past episode, I did it at a regular time, which is at 4. But going off of the poll results, I think I might move it closer to the morning. I want to say 11. Because you recommended 10. Mm-hmm. I think that's still too early. But given the poll results, I'm going to say 11. Mm-hmm. So this episode of the podcast will be going up at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. And we're going to see how that works. But yeah, that's, we're going to experiment with it for a while. So, yeah, that's it. And any parting words?
No.
All right, that's great. Thank you.